Salam alaikum, alaikum salam. Buenas noches. I pray you guys having a great night, great Friday. I'm going to read a little bit out of a book called The African Kingdoms of the Past. And we're talking here about West Central Africa. And it's on the Congo and Dongo people. Congo and Dongo people. And we're going to read a story, a Congo story. It's called The Founding Stories. Okay? A long, long time ago, in the province of Karimba, near the Great Zaire River, there lived a woman named Lekuni. She was married, and in time, she bore her husband a son named Nimi A Lekuni. The boy grew to be a strong, healthy youth, defiant in nature and eager for power. One day, Lekuni wished to cross the river to reach a market on the other side. The ferryman there kept her waiting, and Lekuni became impatient. She berated the man and badgered him endlessly. She was pregnant, she shouted. She should cross immediately. It did not pay to annoy the ferryman. After all, he was master of these waters, and no one could cross the great river without his service. Perhaps you are a queen, he sneered, or at least the mother of a king, that you cannot wait patiently like everyone else. When the other passengers have crossed, then you too may cross the river. Lekuni was furious. How dare this lowly ferryman treat her so insolently? Lekuni returned home and told her son, Nimi A Lekuni, what had happened. Now the young man saw at once his chance to seize the power for which he yearned. Console yourself, mother, her son said. For this I promise you, you shall indeed be the mother of a king, and I, Nimi A Lekuni, shall be that king. But first I must have a kingdom. From then on, Nimi A Lekuni had only one aim. He would cross the Zaire and conquer the rich and fertile lands to the south of the great river. Nimi A Lekuni recruited many people, luring them with promises of land and great riches. In time, he departed from his homeland with all his followers, his father, mother, and sister, and set out to make his own promise come true. With the cunning of a jackal, Nimi A Lekuni entrenched himself in an area of impregnable mountain crags. This spot lay near the ancient trade routes reaching from the sea coast deep into the interior and from the north to the south. Many people traveled these paths, carrying with them salt and valuable shell money, cloth, ivory, wood stuffs, and other precious items of trade. From his rocky fortress, Nimi A Lekuni and his armed followers were able to ambush the travelers. They took their goods and forced them to pay heavy tolls in order to pass. Nimi A Lekuni also conducted fierce raids into the land surrounding his outposts. He found criminals, outcasts, adventurers, and men of greed to join his forces. Before long, he had become known as a single-minded and unyielding leader, and his followers proclaimed him their king. From then on, he was addressed as Congo of Congo, King of Congo. When he judged the time to be right, King Nimi invaded the lands across the Zaire. He fought and conquered as he marched, driving local lords from their ancestral lands. At length, King Nimi and his people reached a mountain known as Vumba. It was here that, with great foresight, the King Congo chose to build his capital city. At the top of the mountain, King Nimi found a wide, flat plain, in the center of which was a lake. He commanded his people to fill in the lake with earth. When this was done, They built houses and roads, and for their king a palace. The city came to be known as Mbanza, the city of Congo. The site was truly chosen with great wisdom. It lay near the crossroads of trade, and for miles in all directions one could look far out over the land. The earth was rich and fertile. The sun shone, the rain fell, and the people prospered. After his military triumph, King Nimi proved to be a prudent and wise king. He laid down the first laws, which were just and true. In time, through strength and valor, he conquered other areas, and his capital was eventually surrounded by a vast territory consisting of many provinces. One day, King Nimi assembled at his palace and clothed those relatives, companions, and slaves whom he deemed worthy. The king entered his dwelling and returned with the sacred knife that symbolized his dignity, his royalty, and his laws. Then he took also a buffalo tail, the other symbol of his royalty, and his people knelt before him. King Nimi raised his right hand, and all were silent. King Nimi was indeed a wise man. To each of his selected people, he entrusted the governorship of province. Each was to go forth for a period of not less than 3 years, governing wisely and bringing prosperity to his province and thus to the kingdom. In this way was the king of Congo formed, and it became the largest and most powerful of those lands along the western coast of Central Africa. And in this way did Nimi Lukuni keep his promise to his mother, Ne Lukuni, who did indeed become the mother of a king. I hope you guys understood. It's from a book called African Kingdoms of the Past, talking about the Congo and Dongo from West Central Africa, written by Kenny Mann with 2 N's at the end. Have yourself a great night, a great Friday, and a great weekend. And salam alaikum, and sambi lakutare.